All right, let's jump right into this. You've probably seen the headlines about declining church attendance in some parts of the world. But underneath that story, there's a massive, almost invisible transformation happening. We're talking about a seismic shift that is completely redefining the very center of global Christianity.
To really get our heads around this, you have to understand that what's happening is, well, it's like a tale of two churches. Two completely different stories playing out at the exact same time within the same global faith. And here's the paradox. On one side, you have the Western Church, in places like Europe and North America, where, the story for a while has been one of decline. But flip the script. In what's often called the majority world, that's Africa, Asia, and Latin America, the exact opposite is happening. We're not just talking about a little growth, we're talking about an absolute explosion that's been sustained for decades.
And look, this isn't just a minor trend we're talking about. This is a fundamental realignment of the entire Christian world. So let's dig into the sheer scale of this change, because honestly, the numbers are just staggering. Okay, let's rewind the clock. Picture it, the year 1900. Across all of Africa, Asia, and Latin America, you had about 94 million Christians. Now, that sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a clear minority in the global picture. All right, now fast forward just over a century to 2010. Get ready for this. That number went from 94 million to nearly 1.4 billion. No, that's not a typo. That's a nearly 15-fold increase. It's hard to overstate this. It's one of the most dramatic religious shifts in all of modern history, period. And the wildest part? This trend isn't even slowing down. It's actually speeding up. I mean, projections for 2050 put that number at almost 2.3 billion. The momentum here is it's undeniable. You know, the historian Philip Jenkins just nails it. He basically says, hey, the whole story we thought we knew about Christianity being a European or North American thing, that story's over. The center of gravity has moved. It's shifted south and east. So what's the bottom line here? It's simple. The majority of Christians in the world today are not in Europe or North America. They are the new majority. And that one fact, it changes everything about how we need to think about this faith in the 21st century. Okay, so you're probably asking the same thing I was. Why? What's the engine driving this incredible transformation? Well, the source material we're looking at boils it down to a few really key drivers that you see again and again in these growing churches. It's not just one magic bullet. It's more like a three-part recipe: a mission-first mindset, a really spirit-empowered community, and these super simple grassroots structures. So let's take a look at each one. First up, that mission-first mindset. This is huge. It's like it's baked into their DNA. The idea is that every single Christian is a missionary, right where they are. And they see reproduction as a sign of health. I mean, think about it. Healthy things grow and multiply, right? So for them, planting new churches isn't some big, complicated program. It's just what you do. The second driver is all about a spirit-empowered community. This means a really deep, day-to-day reliance on the Holy Spirit for everything. For power and growth. Prayer isn't just something they do before a meeting, it's the absolute foundation of their ministry. There's this one quote from the source material that just stopped me in my tracks. What the West calls Pentecostal, Asia calls Christianity. Wow. That tells you everything about how central this spiritual vitality is. Okay, so you've got all this energy and momentum, but where does it go? How does it actually grow? That brings us to the third driver, and it's all about structure and just making it accessible. Instead of thinking about giant cathedrals or expensive buildings, think smaller, think grassroots. The two big models you see are cell churches, which are basically small groups connected to a bigger network, and house churches, which are pretty much exactly what they sound like, groups meeting in homes or storefronts. It's simple, it's low cost, and it's super easy to replicate. So this third piece really ties it all together. You've got these simple, replicable structures, you've got to focus on raising up leaders from right there in the community, and you have this powerful idea of the priesthood of all believers, which just means everybody gets to play. You don't need a fancy degree to be a key part of the ministry. And what's so important to remember is that this is often happening from the ground up, with a real passionate focus on things like justice and dignity. All right, so we've seen the numbers, we've looked at what's driving it, but let's get to the big question. So what? Why does any of this matter? Here's the takeaway, plain and simple. For centuries, when you thought about the heart of Christianity, you probably thought of places like Rome or London or maybe Chicago. Well, that's not the story anymore. The future of the faith is being written right now in places like Lagos, Sao Paulo, and Beijing.
And, the source material we're drawing from here has a really interesting take on this. It says, for the Western Church, this shouldn't be seen as some kind of loss. It's more of an invitation to listen, to learn from the energy and faith of this new global majority. It's a chance to finally become a truly global church in every sense of the word.
So that really leaves us with a huge question to chew on, doesn't it? As the face of faith continues this incredible transformation, what new lessons are we all going to learn? What lessons about community, about mission, about justice will the world learn from these new centers of Christianity?